Hi, welcome to my home and to my channel. I'm Debbie, and yes, I'm coming from the Pacific Northwest where I live, and I am also offering you a weekly episode on something good about all the generations, the seniors, the Gen Zers, and everybody in between. So come along with me and let's get started.
Woke up this morning feeling fine. There's something special on my mind. Last night I met a new girl in the neighborhood. Whoa, yeah. Something tells me I'm into something good.
Something tells me I'm into something.
She's the kind of girl who's not too shy, and I can tell I'm her kind of guy. She danced close to me like I hope she would.
She danced with me like I hope she would.
Something tells me I'm into something good.
Something tells me I'm into something.
We only danced for a minute or two, and then she stuck close to me the whole night through. Can I be the one in love?
She's everything I've been dreaming of.
She's everything I've been dreaming of. I walked her home and she held my hand. I knew it couldn't be just a one night stand. So I asked to see her next week, and she told me I could.
I asked to see her and she told me I could.
Something tells me I'm into something good.
Something tells me I'm into something. Something tells me I'm into something.
Hi, well, we've had a summer hiatus of sorts. You haven't seen me in a little while, but that's okay. Today is Sunday, September 22nd, and here we are at the beginning of my season 2, the very first episode, episode 1, Travels with Debbie, at least for the travels I've had for a little while in the year 2024, and I'm hosting with my friend here, Klondike, my Alaska Husky friend, who I got obviously in Alaska, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But first of all, welcome back. I hope you all had a very good end of summer time frame, and I think of all of you and hope you're doing well. You know, when we think about travel, oh my goodness, it's so different now in my early 70s than it was when I was in my early 20s or even my 30s. I had so much more energy. I could do so much longer treks and hiking and biking and everything here, there, and everywhere without any kind of reason to stop. But nowadays, of course, you get aches and pains. You can't travel quite as far or as hard as you used to, and so I adjust. It's always adapt and adjust, isn't it, for my generation. I've been very lucky though, because recently I've been able to travel with a few Gen Zers who you are going to see in just a moment when we start showing some films and some clips of my recent travels. I do remember a time though, and I bet a lot of you baby boomers do too, when travel meant, oh goodness, back in the 1950s, very late 1950s and early 60s, people would dress up. They would dress up to take a plane flight. It was a very exciting experience. Truly, it was so magnificent. You felt like a first-class passenger no matter what section you were in the airplanes of the 1950s and early 60s. But then as the masses started traveling and it opened up to the world, it got more relaxed. As you can tell, people now wear anything and everything to take a plane flight at any time, anywhere. So I enjoy very much escorted tours, because that way I can sit back and relax and know that the tour guide and everybody who's on the staff and the crew can take good care of me. I have traveled on my own before and met up with tours, but I've also enjoyed traveling with others. The one thing I want to share with other seniors, especially those of you who have families, have spouses, have grandchildren, you're probably so used to going as a group, as a family, but there honestly is something to be said about just going off on your own, of course, safely, but joining up with a tour or a group of people that maybe you haven't met In other words, what I'm sharing with you today is why not think about travel in a way that you can meet other people, not just only be in your insular group all the time. Talk to people that are on trains and are on coach tours with yourself. Get to know the people in the community or the city and the area that you're visiting. That's what I always do. And it takes effort. It means you have to get out of your comfort zone sometimes and just talk to people. But they're from everywhere and they're having a good time, and so are you. So there's a commonality. Standing in line, I remember one time standing in line to tour Windsor Castle in Windsor, England, and I met people from all over the world who were standing in line with me and talking with them about their experiences. In other words, what I'm sharing with is that you don't want to miss out on part of the opportunity of travel, which is just to get beyond your own self and your own group or your spouse or whatever, and just meet other locals, meet other people. Have a good time and expand your outlook and your experience. I do that especially when I'm traveling by myself, and I've always found it to be such a wonderful gateway to learning about other people and oftentimes getting invited to where they are. You never know where it can lead. So that's how my travel experience is. The other thing I want to mention is that nowadays we have to have a plan B. There's always a plan A, but then there's always a plan B, at least if you're a good prepared traveler, because you never know what's going to happen if a plane is delayed or a tour has to be stopped and maybe there's a weather delay, something that comes up that makes you have to incorporate what I call a plan B. I know that when I travel now, even as far as 2 weeks travel, I always bring a carry-on and pack mix and match outfits and things that I know that halfway through I can stop at a laundromat or stop at a hotel that has or even an Airbnb that often has a little washer dryer, and I can get everything clean and put it back in the carry-on, because in the end you just want to be comfortable, but you also want to be able to have enough clothes with you and not have to worry about lost luggage or delayed luggage. God forbid that should happen and you have nothing. So I have always learned to just go by carry-on, take as much of everything that's important for me to survive for a few days, like my medications and clean pair of underwear, a nightshirt, just things that I know I will need just in case I need a plan B. So that's how I like to be prepared for any kind of trip, and usually it goes fine. But that way I won't stress in case it doesn't. Anyway, that's just my little uptake on travel in the century that we're in now and the times that we're in, where anything can happen, including a pandemic. I know many of my senior friends, and you know who you are, love to take those big cruises, and I would love it too, except I don't know. I don't want to be in a floating petri dish just in case there is a pandemic. Who knows? And you're stuck in your cabin. I know that's the worst case scenario, but it has happened. And like 2020, we never knew that could happen. And sure enough, it did. The other thing is I just like to know that I have some choices and I'm basically on land. The tour that I'm going to talk about first in this video is about Alaska. My friend Peter and I traveled together on what's considered a land tour of Alaska, where we went to many places. And during that 7-day all-inclusive trip, there were 2 days where we were on a glacier boat ride from beginning to end. That's how I prefer to travel. So without further delay, hey Klondike, are we ready? He said, let's do it, Debbie. Okay, let's start with my travels to Alaska. Here we go. Wow, finally the day has come. Peter and I have traveled, and as you can tell, Peter in the window seat taking a photo of sunrise over Anchorage, Alaska as we fly in. And of course, welcome to Anchorage, Alaska. Hey, Peter and I made it to Alaska, our Alaska travel adventure. And look, we made a new friend. This bear is so friendly. He's Mr. Kodiak. Hi, everyone. Can you see Peter? Hi. We're traveling together, senior and Gen Z. I just couldn't resist giving a big bear hug, get it, to this bear that greeted us at the Embassy Suites Hotel in downtown Anchorage. He's so lifelike. Talk about taking a picture with a bear where you don't have to worry about getting bitten. Yay! Well, we started on our first day together exploring the glaciers. That's my number one thing about going to Alaska. We're on an escorted tour bus, and you can see the railroad tracks, which also go from Anchorage to Whittier. Whittier's where we're going to stop and get on a cruise ship, but a small one, and be able to see the glaciers up front and personal. On our way to Whittier, in order to access it, you have to go through the famous Anderson Memorial Tunnel, excavated in the 1940s by the U.S. Army for the purpose of creating a supply line to the interior Alaska area during World War II. And by the way, get this, in the year 2000, the tunnel was transformed into the longest shared rail and vehicle tunnel in all of North America. Fancy that.
Air. We need 4 ingredients in order to make the glacier. The first one being snow. At the top of these mountains, we can get up to 120 feet mountaintops. So it's 24 miles long and a mile and a half wide. There is 300 feet of ice above the water, and then about 5.
His grandparents saying, they were being our grandson's teacher. And I'm like, can I get a house? Can you pay off my mortgage? Can I do another? Western Gateway to Prince William Sound. It's a busy cruise port, as you can tell, and a vibrant recreational community, according to the captain, with many options to explore the Chugach National Forest and all the beautiful waters. Oh my gosh, these glaciers with the beautiful colors of blue and white. They do say that glaciers are an endangered place in this world because they are melting. Gotta see them while you can. Well, here you have a bear skin rug, the real thing. We took a short trolley ride around Anchorage and saw the earthquake park from the 1964 Anchorage earthquake. On our Anchorage daytime trolley tour, we got a nice view of the entire city from far away. What a beautiful, beautiful shot. We learned on our trolley tour as we stopped to see the propeller planes, the Cessnas, that people can get around and get from point A to point B without worry about traversing some difficult icy roads. Just take a plane ride like this one. Of course, no tour would be complete without stopping at gift shops. So here we are in Anchorage. I had my little rain jacket on because, of course, it gets a little bit rainy even in August. But here's a carousel horse. I couldn't resist petting it. It seems like everywhere I go, there's a bear ready to give me a hug. And look, this one's got a big smile. So in downtown Anchorage, we did our very best to take a video of a beautiful, huge mural showing some of the animals and the wildlife of Alaska. Look at those gorgeous colors. Well, here's our ticket, our boarding pass to the Alaska Railroad, the very famous railroad. And of course, Peter couldn't help himself. He was so excited about trains. He loves trains. And here we are boarding the train and going for a majestic train ride. The sound of the train going through, and look at the sunshine. Look at the beautiful terrain. There I am looking at it all. I'm just so amazed that I lived to see this part of the world on a beautiful August day on our way to Seward, Alaska. Wow. Well, it wouldn't be a complete experience in Alaska without husky dogs and going on a dog sled ride. Take a look at the mother dog. There's a daddy dog and a whole bunch of brother and sister dogs, as you can see here. It's a rainy day. It got a little bit cold as we were starting to enjoy the kennel. There's a puppy, a newborn puppy. Oh my goodness, how cute can you be? And there's a grown puppy. He's about a year old. And I think that was the one that gave me a little bite because he was teething. There's the mother. And if you look closer, you can see her babies. She's protecting them in the rain. How sweet.
I've never been in a vehicle.
Peter and I decided to take a little rest stop in a town called Girdwood, and that's halfway between Seward and Anchorage, and you can see it's so wonderful. Wow, look where we are. Woo! Yay! Mid-morning, we were having our coffee and enjoying a little rest stop just for a few minutes before we were heading back to Anchorage. Wow, travels go by so quickly, don't they? Well, I just wanted to finish up this episode with a moose. Doesn't that moose have incredible antlers? I think I'd get a headache just having to support something like that. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed our travels to Alaska, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.